Back here at Big South Conference Spring Meetings, I'm here with the Commissioner Kyle Kallander. And Kyle, first off, just kind of go over, summarize exactly what this week is all about for us.
Well, it's really the climax of a great year, both athletically, administratively, everything that we've tried to accomplish this year, a lot of the initiatives we've been trying to focus on. It's really a great week because we have our basketball coaches with us, athletics directors, senior women administrators, faculty athletics representatives, and then our president's coming at the end of the week really to cap things off. But in addition to all the work and all the meetings we have a little bit of fun, and we have a lot of great partners of ours that really support us through the years. Our corporate partners do such a wonderful job to support our student athletes and everything they do. We're really gratified to have a great group, and this is our biggest spring meeting ever. We have more people here than we ever have before, so we're real excited with that support. We have our TV partners with us here this week, so it's a great week to really have a gathering of the Big South Conference family, and it's a lot of fun.
And you mentioned already the women's basketball coaches and men's basketball coaches met. Both coaches groups met with the athletic directors as well. Women's basketball, the main topics there were marketing as well as the bids for the next year's championship. What can you tell us that came out of those meetings?
Yeah, well, clearly a huge focus on the women's basketball tournament and our championship and where it's going for the next 3 years. We put it out to bid. We had 3 institutions that bid, 3 communities, High Point, UNC Asheville, and Liberty, and all 3 very good bids. And so we've had a committee that's been studying that over the last few months. So our women's basketball coaches spent some time talking about those bids, what they desire in the future of the women's basketball championship, what their priorities are, and shared that with the athletics directors when they met with them as well. And along with that, last spring at these meetings we passed a strategic plan. And that was heavily focused on basketball and our success in basketball. And also, how do we support basketball in the Big South Conference? So we talked a lot with the women about the marketing efforts that we need to undertake as institutions and as a conference to support women's basketball moving forward. And I think they had some really good ideas about that, really focusing on trying to drive attendance and interest in the sport.
And how that process moves forward next to the CEO level. When will they review the bids, and when can we expect a decision on the next 3 years of our basketball championship for the women?
Yeah, it's a really extensive review process because we've had a committee that's looked at it. Our basketball coaches have looked at it. Tomorrow, we have our Council of Senior Women's Administrators and Council of Athletics Directors that are both going to review and rank those bids as well. And ultimately, that will go to our CEOs who meet on Friday, and they'll make the ultimate decision. So we'll have a decision by the end of the week.
And for the men's basketball coaches, kind of the big topics for them were transfers, the new tournament format, and returning to an 18-game round-robin schedule. Again, what are those discussions with the ADs this afternoon?
Yeah, probably the best discussion we've had this week so far was with our basketball coaches and our athletics directors in regards to the transfer situation in basketball. Anybody who follows college basketball knows that it's a real issue. I mean, we've got student athletes, upwards of 800 so far this year, that are transferring from one institution to another, and these are primarily undergraduates. And so we're concerned about the fact that our best young student athletes who we are committed to coming into the Big South Conference institutions, who we develop, they have success here, and then they think there are greener pastures and move on. And our coaches are obviously very concerned about that. And there's other impacts with student athletes moving on, because it can have a serious impact on an institution's APR, because that's largely related to retention. So really a lot of concern within the conference, within our coaches about that. Had great discussion with athletic directors about potential solutions and what can happen there. But ultimately, that's got to be a decision that's made at the national level. So Big South Conference is going to be very active in helping to drive that issue moving forward. And hopefully, at some point, we can come up with some solutions to resolve this, understanding we want to allow student athletes some movement. We understand that's necessary. But we've got to protect what we're trying to build on our own campuses. So that was really the big one, but certainly we talked about other issues. We talked about the schedule. We talked about the strategic plan in men's basketball, what we're doing to support basketball moving forward, and I was really pleased with the discussion on all those topics.
And tomorrow, another full day of meetings. What's on schedule for everybody?
Yeah, full day, really next 2 days. We start at 8 a.m. with our council meeting, so that's each council ADs, SWAs, and faculty reps meeting separately. And then in the afternoon, we have our Board of Administrators. All the councils come together and meet jointly. So what's exciting about tomorrow, well, there's a couple of things, obviously. But we have our TV partners with ESPN and American Sports Network coming in and visiting with us, talking about what's new with them and what we're looking forward to in the future. And then in the afternoon, we have Kevin Lennon, the Vice President of Division I Governance, and John Parsons, the Director of the NCAA Sports Science Institute, visiting with our Board of Administrators. And that's really key because as we talk about transfers and a lot of other issues that are really important nationally in college athletics, to be able to have that expertise visit directly with our membership is really important to us. So that's a long day of meetings. At 4 o'clock, our ADs will meet with our CEOs of issues that are particularly important to them. That's the only opportunity we have all year for the athletics directors to visit with the CEOs. So it's really important time for the ADs. And then we culminate it tomorrow night with our awards banquet, and that's always something I look forward to every year. We celebrate the great athletic and academic accomplishments by our student athletes in the Big South Conference, and it's really going to be a wonderful event.
Well, that's a great wrap-up on the first full day of meetings. Commissioner, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.
Thank you, Mark.